Good morning, everyone. I'm here to do another video for us today. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel if you're new. If you're returning, thank you for being here, and I appreciate your time and energy. So we're going to jump right in. I already pulled the cards, and I started to channel the messages a little bit already, but I'll just give myself a second here just to kind of connect. So as you can see here, that King of Swords, I believe, is our main energy that we're channeling for today. And this is a beautiful energy. I feel this is a powerful masculine who's very smart. He's authentic at his core. Um, this represents, in my opinion, a little bit of an older masculine energy. This wouldn't necessarily be a younger one because of the Six of Cups that's right on the left there at the top. These are children that I sense that we're going to channel today, and I think they're his children. They're older as well. These aren't tiny little kids. This would be young adults or older teens, okay? So I feel like this masculine here has been torn for quite some time, and for good reason. I feel this person is very smart, like I said, and he is intellectually trying to figure out the best way to articulate to you from a mind space what has been going on and how he feels and the worries that he has in regards to a possible full relationship with you. I feel this is somebody that you're talking with right now. It's a new connection, perhaps. And if it's not a new connection and this person has really taken a long time to share how he feels, to share his intentions. If you've asked him to be in a relationship and he hasn't really given you an answer, I feel like we're going to be able to understand through these messages here why that would be. Now, we have a repeated card of the Hierophant, so that's powerful. I do believe the purpose of the fact that this card is standing up is because of these realizations and the understanding at a very deep level that he has, not only about himself, for this connection with you, and for the life that he's led up until this point. These children, I feel, have been challenging, and in some aspect he loves his children, don't get me wrong. This is a really good dad, very good person, very good heart. However, I feel like he's felt extremely torn because he feels guilty about moving on. And perhaps this is because if he separated from somebody that these children perhaps really liked or had a good relationship with for whatever reason, maybe they feel threatened by the fact that he would be moving into a new relationship. It takes time. And, young people sometimes don't fully understand matters of the heart. It takes time over many, many years, as we know, to learn about love and relationships. And it's not easy to navigate. So I feel like he's provided himself with some space here between him and the kids, because I feel like he needed to clear his mind in order to make like a final decision about what and how he wants to proceed with all of this. And I suspect that he hasn't shared these struggles with you. And if he's gone silent, that's probably why. But I urge you, masculine, to trust your counterpart and trust in yourself and trust in the process that, it sometimes feels better, and it will be easier if you are going at this with your person versus all by yourself. Because I do feel like he's been overthinking it. He's approaching it from an intellectual point of view versus the heart space, and really trying to understand and making decisions from that heart space instead of that mind space. Because sometimes the mind can be kind of it can trick us sometimes with old patterns and negative ways of thinking or past experiences, versus a heart space that is more open and honest to what is truly authentic to that person's soul. I feel this is a very deep connection between you two. It's very powerful, and I think it caught him off guard as well. So there's a lot that he had to do in terms of contemplation, but he has found a lot of joy in doing that work, because he's been able to overcome the blocks and barriers that would otherwise keep him stuck. and have him repeat old patterns of staying away, feeling like he can't do this, nothing will ever work. If there's an ex, involved, that will always be problematic, or you may think something negative if this is a very volatile person or negative person or ill person that sends ill intentions, all sorts of things that I'm picking up. But he's overcome that, understanding that that is separate and apart from him and you and his life. And he's worked really hard, I sense, to become independent. And so he figured out the best way to tackle these challenges. And I feel like he has made a decision, and he hasn't told you about this decision yet. And I feel like that's imminent and that's coming. And that decision is that he feels that this relationship is worth putting all the work and the effort into, because he knows there's longevity here. This is his future. This is his path right now. He's on it. He's looking, you see, and you are somebody that he can work with. Right now, he feels alone, like what I was saying. Interesting. Look. Usually the Three of Pentacles, there's three energies. This is him reflecting back on himself. Look, it's gray. Struggles. Doesn't want to struggle anymore. I think he does want to collaborate with you and share his life with you. And he doesn't want to be alone. If these are adult children, they would have their own lives in some ways. So there are times where he's alone. And I feel like that's where he's had the opportunity to think. And I think he's come into some big realizations here that this past has really held him back in a way that has prevented him from feeling this all the time, having you in his life all the time. So the understanding is that he needs to protect himself, like over here, from anything that would otherwise cause him strife, because I don't think it takes much for this one to get overwhelmed and to feel awful and to feel guilty. And then he kind of closes up, and he might have mild depression. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a doctor. I'm just channeling, because it feels like a heavy, sad energy. And I'm seeing that person kind of close up in their home. Everything's dark and just isolate and alone. Okay. And I'm seeing sadness, like crying. Heavy, heavy heart here. And I'm seeing the brain too, and the energy not really flowing properly. So that's definitely some mental health, and that's not good. And these cards represent that sometimes, right? We know that the 10 of Wands is a really heavy energy, that 9 of Wands, and I'm happy to see that it's reversed, because I feel like this is what he has come to understand, better understand, and is willing to tackle now in a different way. I like that there's gaps with the cards. Sometimes I have my cards touching, sometimes I don't. Everything in my readings is a message. So it's not just about the cards themselves, it's how I position the cards and the crystals, even the blankets that I use. I often just use blankets, not like just a plain table. Okay. There's a softness here to the energy, and a softness to the channeling, and he's still feeling overwhelmed in some aspects. I feel that's why he still needs to defend himself, or feels like he has to defend himself. But I think it's because he hasn't shared this with you, and he's worried. I think that he's putting too much what ifs and trying to figure out what you would think, instead of just telling you and trusting you and allowing you to share your opinion for yourself. But it comes from a good place, because he doesn't want to take a risk that this could push you away, or have you make a decision that this wouldn't be a relationship for you if there are problems in his family life with his kids. And if he put distance between you two, this is why, because I feel like he needed to do this. The divine's been helping him. We have the feather here, and there is definitely healing that's coming in, and the healing will occur once he tells you how he feels and what's been going on. and what his intentions are and what his wishes are and what he feels that he needs to make things work. He doesn't want to wait anymore. That Three of Wands is reversed. I think at one time he thought, well, I'll just really take my time, but everything kind of turned on its head, and I don't know if it's because he realized that there was some nefarious energy here that was causing him some strife, or if it was always there, he just didn't see it in that way. Maybe he wasn't willing to accept it. Denial, right? It's tricky, especially when it's your own family. And if he's divorced or separated where the children struggled, there could have been guilt there and overgiving, overextending to try and make up for that. And again, this is not to judge anybody. I'm just channeling, okay? These are real things that happen, and it's nobody's fault. It just happens. It's not an easy thing to go through, a separation and a divorce, especially when there's children involved. I speak from experience, and it's always an element that's there, even when our kids are a little bit older. It's really hard, but he loves them. He'll still be there for them. The difference here is I think he's finally seeing that he needs to stand up. If he hasn't already, he needs to speak up about what it is that he wants and what he needs to be happy in his life, because he has the right to be happy. He wants them to be happy as well. And I don't sense that. I sense you're very mature. You're very strong partner. This is a very strong partnership here. You're very aligned with your energy, with your thought process. This is why he feels like, that's why that Eight of Pentacles is there. I feel like you guys have already spent time together, and he already sees and feels that you can work together. Do you see that Three of Pentacles is here, and he's really focused on that, and it's solid. So he's made his decision, and I think this is what he's going to come and tell you, that he wants a partnership with you. He wants to marry you, and he sees a lot of joy and potential here. And he's going to apologize, because I think, like I said, there was a lot of dark stuff that he had to deal with. And maybe he was depressed if he went through a significant divorce or separation. That's not easy. We have to take stigma away from mental health. There's nothing wrong with experiencing that. It's no different than having a physical injury or a physical health issue. And unfortunately, mental health is still seen as something that is quiet. People don't like to talk about it, and it has a different perception because there's a lack of understanding. So we need to educate. We need more education, I feel, out there around mental health, and encourage people to talk more about it and support each other and show compassion and understanding for people who are in those situations, because it's really hard, and not one person is exempt from that. Just like not one person is exempt from ever getting sick physically. Okay, goes hand in hand. And I believe there's the added pieces of energetic health, and spiritual health, but that's separate and apart from everyone's belief systems. It's different for everybody. But for me, when I look at healing myself, I look at the whole self, and I include all of those areas. Okay. And I've seen a lot of benefit in doing that. So, all right. Now, let's go back here with that Seven of Wands. There's some more messages there. Yeah, he's faced his burdens head on here. And this is older energy. And what he learned through doing that is that he had success, and maybe he did speak up with them, or any karmic energy perhaps that was in the way that was causing this person, place, or thing, and that he knows he has to take really good care of himself and defend himself if he wants to be happy, healthy, and be strong, and remain that way, and not get pulled back into this cycle of being siphoned and being constantly like, I'm seeing somebody like tap, 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 knocking on the door, calling, phone ringing, text going off, like constant influx of I need, I want, I need, I want. And that's not a bad thing. If he has time and energy to give, and he's around and he can, that's great. I feel like he wants to, and he will. But I feel like there's an overindulgence of that. There's something to be said about sometimes stepping back and allowing, especially young people, to learn how to solve problems on their own. It's really hard. As a parent, I have to sometimes tell myself, step back. Just don't give the answer so quickly. Let them figure it out. It's tough though. It's tough. But I feel like he's going to explain this to you. And a lot of this will make sense to you once he comes to you. And I feel like this is the energy you're going to be left with. You're going to just hug each other. You're going to have so much relief that you are both on the same page and you're both wanting this union. And it's safeguarded by the divine. All right. You will make it. So have courage and come forward and open up because you won't regret it. All right. Take care, everyone. Chat soon.